Oh, cool. What's up, y'all? I'm Nick Castle. I'm a director, producer, editor, DJ, DP. Sometimes you got to do it all these days. But yeah, I co-own a company called Very Taste with my little brother. And we do a lot of branded content. We also make documentaries. We do short films. We produce a lot of stuff. But our bread and butter comes from brands actually sending us treatments, or they send us kind of an idea for a project, and then we'll pitch a treatment for that. So what I'm going to do today is try to take you through a little bit of the process of one of our projects that we got from a brand. And then I'll take you through a similar process for something with no budget that we did for friends with friends that might have ended up costing us $100. So we're going to go from like something that's a little over $100,000 to something that was like a little over $100, and try to kind of see where the similarities lie in how you create those things. And really, this is just kind of about preparation and what you're thinking about before going into a shoot. So this first job we did, it was a job for Foot Action starring Guap Dad 4000. And here's one of them. I'll show you one of the pieces, and then we'll walk through one of the other ones. So this one is called Flossing Techniques.
The dentist will see you now.
Hey, welcome in, young bruh. I'm Guap Dentist. This is dentistry. I'm the canine cleaner, the molar master. And this is completely legitimate, not a scam. Thank you, nurse. Is that a grill? No, it's not. It's just the benefits of proper dental hygiene. I don't need this. This kid is not flossing. Let's get you cozy. It's looking tight.
Wow. Thanks, Guap.
Don't mention it. Nah, don't touch me.
That one we had maybe 2 weeks beforehand we heard about the gig. We had about a week to get the whole thing together and build like a dentist office out of fur. And it was over Thanksgiving weekend that we were doing a lot of this. It was tough, but we're super happy when a client comes to us with like an interesting concept. So the concept is Guap Dad is pretending to be a dentist. This kid thinks it's a scam, but really he's just trying to get him into some Foot Action gear. And that's like the basic concept. What they sent us for this was like maybe like a 12-page script. And these are supposed to be 3 30-second spots. So a script is normally about a page to a minute. So like a page of script is a minute of footage. With ads, sometimes you're a little more descriptive in the script and there's not a lot of dialogue. So maybe like 2 pages to a minute, but still 10 pages is very long. So the first thing you do when you get a script like that, you talk to the client, you figure out like what is most important for them to keep in there and how much flexibility you have. Luckily, they were very happy to let us take a crack at the script, and we cut it down to this. So this is the cut down of the script from the initial maybe like 6 to 8 pages just for this restaurant script. And so this one ended up being about, 2 pages and a little change, but very descriptive. If you see here, it's just a lot of description of the setting and then what Guap Dad is wearing. The dialogue is very short. It's just, him saying hi. A little bit of the teasing of the concept in this one, whereas like everything he's serving in this restaurant has something to do with Foot Action and something to do with being cozy. These are called the Cozy Chronicles. So, he first hits him with a chilled cozy instead of a rosé. There's a lot of these really kind of terrible puns, and we love terrible puns, so we're leaning into them. But yeah, we cut this down to like 2.25 pages. And what you do is you read through the script and you make sure that you can get that dialogue out in 30 seconds if you're doing a 30-second ad, because 30 seconds is not a long time, but you can tell a lot of story in 30 seconds. So you really got to read through it and figure out that, yes, this is going to work. And if it's not, cut that thing down. It's always better to be a little under than over, because it's hard to edit some things out in a 30-second thing when every piece is really important. So Then we go through the script. We got the script. Cool. One of the next steps after cutting down that script and having the client approve that is to create a shot list. So sometimes we'll make a shot list first. A lot of times we'll just go straight from script to shot list and shoot. If it's kind of rough and you know what your shots are going to be, that's no problem. But when you're dealing with like a big budget, it's really nice to get storyboards going. So either drawing something out yourself, using storyboard software. In our case, we have a storyboard artist we use, and this is what those ended up looking like. So, we're showing the wide shot here. That's what we're starting with. We're showing off the little bit of foot action branding on the menu. We show Guap Dad coming in with the MS OTS, which is just medium shot over the shoulder. We also call that dirty if there's a little bit of person in the frame. Showing the wine bottle, really going through this. And also it's helpful in a shot list to actually have the script in there. So showing exactly where we might say, yes, do you mean rosé? Our actors killed it in this one, by the way. So I'm excited to show you their performance because they really owned these lines. And this is what the storyboard looks like. And that's nice, especially when working with the brand, because they want to know exactly what it's going to look like beforehand, especially if they're spending a lot of money. You get a lot more freedom when you're doing this for yourself, but when it's an ad, it's nice to get things approved beforehand so there's not problems afterwards. After you get that approved, you put that into shot list form. So then you make this shot list. And the shot list is going to kind of break down everything that's going into the scene that you need to shoot. And it's nice to have this because you can kind of check things off as you shoot them. We have a really great AD, her name's Samantha Light, and she took this and turned it into a schedule that actually made sense. This is really just us getting out of our heads onto the paper every single shot we need to make this happen. And you can do this just kind of like jotting down on a notepad or just writing it down in your phone, but having a shot list is crucial, no matter what the budget is. You got your script approved, you got your shot list. For this, I showed you the dentist video. For the dentist video, we needed a lot of props. So this is like an activation deck. You go through the script, you think about every prop you're gonna need, and then you send that list to the prop team and you have a discussion about like exact things you need. If you're doing this yourself, you don't have to send it to the prop team, but you need to write down every prop you need because you don't want to get to the restaurant and be like, oh, I forgot the check tray, or we don't have a menu holder. There's a lot of things that aren't on this list because this is like an early activation deck. Like when we revealed the shoes, we needed a big tray that we could fit boots in. And luckily the venue that we rented had one of those. So, we checked beforehand, but if we hadn't checked beforehand and we just needed a tray and nothing to reveal it, we would have been kind of a little screwed when we got to the shoot. So from a directing standpoint, you got a script that's approved, you got a shot list, you got a storyboard. That's all great. Getting a schedule, if you're doing it yourself, you're going to have to schedule it yourself and really think about everything that goes into changing those scenes, changing things for those scenes. Our assistant director, she just crushes it in making a schedule and knowing how long things are going to take. So, when you're working on something with a high budget and like a lot of set pieces, it's really important to schedule that out beforehand. There's a million things that go into this, but if we're just breezing over it, a shot list is huge and necessary. Storyboards are great. I don't always use them because I can kind of picture it in my head and I know when I need a medium shot, a wide shot, a close-up. We just call that coverage. If you have coverage of a scene, that means you have any of the angles you might be wanting to cut to. So you take all that, you go to the shoot, and for the restaurant one, you get something like this.
Bonsoir, je m'appelle Guap Garçon 4000. Can I interest you in some chilled cosé?
Yes, you mean the rosé?
No, I don't.
Okay. I'm sorry to be this person. Is this a typo?
I'm so sorry. It's his first time getting cozy.
Yeah, never been cozy before, so.
It's fine. A warm accoutrement pairs well with anything.
So lovely.
You've had that before?
You simply must try it. Tonight's special. Sherpa fleece scampi.
Wow.
Oh, yes.
And for dessert, our decadent plain benet.
I love this part.
Wait, so we can wear these?
Oh, I implore you to do so, monsieur.
It's so fresh.
It's still warm.
Bon appetit.
That was incredible.
So these ones were actually a minute long for the long version, which is a lot of time to play with that. We had shorter cut downs for sure, but a 2-page script for a minute long video, it makes sense. And that was with a little bit of budget. We got to hire some really good actors who, took those lines and kind of brought them to life. Guap Dad was outstanding. If you can ever work with him, work with him. Dude is a treasure. Like he was actually improvising a lot of lines, and there was so much stuff that I wanted to use in there that we couldn't fit in. But at one point he called the laces of the Tims Tim Guini. Loved that. He was just having a lot of fun with it, and he's good at acting. That's an example of a little 1-minute piece, straight to YouTube from a brand where they came to us with an idea, we cut it down and turned it into something.
Bon appetit.
Here's an example of something that we've done that was pretty much no budget. There's no such thing as no budget because you at least have to feed your crew and, pay people whenever you can. Like anytime people appreciate to get paid, their time's worth money. You can't call favors forever. And even when you do call favors, like people are going to be happy with something. So whatever you can scrounge. For this one, I think we paid, all the actors were part of the brand we were working for. And the voiceover actress, I think we ended up paying her, something just in return for her doing some voiceover acting, just because it was really important to this particular piece. We shot these all in Japan. And then here's an example of one called Camera Love.
悲しいカメラマン。君らの愛がどんどん弱くなってきたのかな。もしかしたら綺麗なプレゼント？それか甘いもの？そんなんバカな。カメラちゃんはアイスなんか食べないよ。新しいコージーストラップは？コージーストラップはきっと君らを仲良くさせるだろう。
So that one was no budget. The main actor was my brother Johnny, who co-owns the company with me. We just kind of scrounged together our resources. We were already in Japan for the release of some clothing for Team Cozy that we were a part of at the time. So what happened was we were supposed to shoot a commercial for a collaboration with Team Cozy and Monkey Time. Something happened where they couldn't get the studio we were supposed to get, so we couldn't shoot the thing, and we were just there, and we were like, what's the next thing you guys have coming out? And it was these camera straps. So quickly, maybe in a half hour, me and Johnny, my brother, just wrote up little scripts, on this notepad to 3 different videos for the camera straps. And the first one was that Camera Love, where we talk about someone growing distant with their camera and trying to kind of win it back, and buying a strap was the solution. And then this next one is called, what is it called? It's called Sad Arm. So it's about basically when your arm gets tired from holding a camera too much, what can you do? You can get a Team Cozy camera strap. So for this, we didn't have a storyboard. We didn't even really have a shot list. We kind of just winged it, but what we had was we just wrote down a quick little script, and then we read the script to make sure that it could fit in, the time allotted, the 30 seconds or whatever. What is this one? This one is, 30 seconds. So, we read the script to make sure that it would fit in 30 seconds, and then we just wrote down, on our phones, just a little shot list that was the shots we needed to get at each location. We ran around Japan. We kind of it's called stealing locations. We stole locations, which is when you don't pay a permit to shoot there. And most of the time you don't need permits if you're not putting down a tripod or if you're not blocking traffic. Just check on the laws in wherever you're shooting. Check with the film office. In New York, you don't need a permit to shoot in the street as long as you're not interrupting traffic or putting things down or doing anything dangerous. So that one we did for super cheap. And really, you just write down a little script, come up with a shot list, and then you go out there and you shoot it and you scrap it together with your friends and whoever you have access to. For this one, we had the owner of Team Cozy as the main character. We had his girlfriend at the time as someone he was trying to wave at across the train, but couldn't pick up his arm because it was too heavy. And then me and my brother just shot the whole thing on the camera we had there, and you cut it together and it comes out like this.
かわいそんなカメラマン、腕疲れてるだろうね。そのコージージャケットのジッパーをどうやって閉めるの？お腹が空いた場合はどうするの？そこの女性見える？腕さえ上がらないならどうやって彼女の方に手を振るの？心配しないで。コージースラップはきっと君らを仲良くさせるだろう。
So yeah, we got friends to chip in music for that. You can always find free resources online for music, but we really like supporting friends and they support us back. So we'll throw them a little money anytime we can use their music and stuff. We still do that to this day. We have our in-house composer who, if we get a big budget, we're paying him great money, and if we have a tiny budget, he's still down to work with us because we do the same with him. We shot a music video for him for free, and it's good to have that kind of bartering relationship and that communal feeling when you're working on stuff. If you're working and you're getting money from a brand, you should be paying everyone the best rates you can. But when it's something just a passion project or for your brand or for your friend's brand and there's no money involved, just scrap it together, but feed people. I think with this video, what gives it a lot of production value for us, and production value is what we call anything that would cost money to make. So you would say something, with a helicopter shot, that adds production value because it would cost money to rent a helicopter and shoot out of that. Sometimes you can get a production value for free. Like, we're in Japan already, and everything there looks amazing to us because we don't live there, and it's new and different. So that's production value. If you live near a farm and you can shoot on a farm, that's huge production value when someone from a city's looking at it, because it's like, oh, you had to get that location. That's hard to get. So really just using whatever you have access to is the main idea there. But have a shot list, have a storyboard if you can. Read through your script and time it so you know that it's going to fit into 30 seconds or a minute or whatever. And then just, scrap together all the best people you can find and make something. If you have any questions on either of those shoots or anything else, production wise, pre-production wise, just let me know. I'm here on Twitch now, but later, shoot me an email. Check our stuff out at Veritaste, and I'm Nick Castle. Thanks for tuning in. Answer some of these questions now. So if you have any more, just shoot them in the chat. Hector was asking what's harder, getting started or being able to keep going. I think getting started is always the hardest. I always tell people it's really important to make the kind of things you want to be making, because the people who hire you are sometimes not, they're not open enough to let you try something that you haven't done before. So for instance, my brother's a photographer. He had never shot cars before, but he's a great photographer, and cars are standing still often. For this one gig, they were standing still. And the company was really scared to let him shoot those photos of cars because he didn't have a portfolio with a bunch of cars in it. So people really want to see that you've done the thing they want done. They want to see that you've done it before. So if you want to be shooting cars, go take a bunch of pictures of cars. If you want to be shooting sneakers, do some sneaker stuff. That's one thing I tell people a lot. So if you're in a job, I used to do a lot of local car commercials. I didn't want to be doing that. So I needed to do it for money, but I wasn't trying to get more of those gigs because I didn't want more of those gigs, if that makes any sense. Hector also asked what our creative process or what my creative process looks like. Most of the time we're kind of given some sort of a brief. Like we did some gigs for Puma where they're like, this is the shoe we want you to shoot. And this is what the shoe means to us. And then they kind of let us run wild. And usually I get that kind of spark for our kind of creative stuff. Someone's giving us something to go off of. And then we take that. I sit down with my brother and we just kind of brainstorm directions we can take it. And then we take all those brainstorms and see which ones we can actually do for the budget that they gave us. One of the questions before was why I began my own film company and why we didn't work for a brand. And I kind of said it in the chat, but like, I like working on different stuff all the time. And any of my friends that work for brands is in-house. They end up doing a lot of the same things over and over again. And when you're in-house, the budgets are tiny. Anytime they have a big budget, like Nike, for instance, they're going to an agency that they have a deal with, and that agency is hiring production companies like us. So, you know, I have friends who are in-house and they get to like come up with ideas and work with these little, you know, $500 budgets all the time, but they never get to do any of the really cool stuff. So that's one reason we started our own company, is so we could take the kind of gigs we wanted to. You asked how I got started. I got started, I mean, initially I was borrowing people's cameras and shooting like school projects for friends. If they had a video school project, I would offer to do it. And, you know, I would just do their homework for them and direct videos like that, shooting skate videos, music videos when I was in high school, like anything I could shoot, I was shooting all the time. I was making documentaries like about my friends. My brother kind of did the same thing. He got a camera. He got a lot of my hand-me-downs, and he was filming. He filmed like a feature-length documentary about his school's football team, which is insane. I've never put out anything that long in my life, and he did it in high school. So that was like the start. How I got started in my career. I was filming for Travel Channel for a while. I got a gig as like the third camera operator on a show. Initially, I got a gig as a DIT, which means I was just downloading the cards. And then they were like, can you shoot time lapses? And I lied and said, yeah, of course. And so I figured that out, was the time lapse guy. And then they're like, hey, can you operate this third camera? I was like, yeah, of course. So I ended up, you know, moving up to camera operator. And then I got a bunch of camera operator gigs. And then I finally started getting more directing gigs that were paying. I was always directing on the side for like small stuff, but that's where I started getting paid. What else we got? The best learning experience from that, I mean, we learn all the time. Every time you're on set is an opportunity to learn. I used to work for a DP, a director of photography, and he was also a really good gaffer. Every time I'm on set with him, I learned some new lighting gag. It's what they call like, if you're a way you rig lights, or the way you bounce light off of something, you know, every single shoot is an opportunity to learn something. Influences, I used to go, there's this director named Ruben Fleischer, and he used to do music videos. Now he did like Gangster Squad and like Zombieland and all that. He also produced Robin Big. But when I was younger, he used to put up all his treatments for his music videos, and they were all like low budget music videos. And then he started getting bigger and bigger budgets, but he was a huge influence because I had never seen a treatment before, and I had never seen like that kind of process behind making something. So he was a big influence. Spike Jonze, kind of the same thing, like seeing him come up from music videos to directing feature films. Inspires me now. I get inspired by anybody who's like a master at a craft. Like I love M. Crow furniture design, because like this dude who owns that, he like does whatever he wants. He does fine art, he makes clothes, he does furniture, and he's like a craftsman, but he creates art. So I feel film's the same way. You have to be able to assemble the pieces, and you have to be able to like build that structure to create the art. So I love watching people. I love watching chefs who like build flavors and really research the hell out of things and techniques, because I feel like the kind of art I want to create is very like technique based, and then taking it into storytelling. I figured out how to operate a camera. I mean, anytime I pick up a camera, I just figure it out, like try everything, look up anything I can online. When you're a camera operator, a lot of times you show up on set and you operate whatever camera's there. So I like knowing the camera beforehand. So if you can go to a rental house and like check it out, or if your friend has it, borrow it for a couple days or go over to their house, like figure out every little bit of that camera, because you don't want to be on set figuring it out when you don't have a lot of time. I went to film school as well. They don't really teach you any of that. Film school's cool for being able to take equipment out from the cage and being forced to do projects and learning how to work with people. But like, they weren't teaching us modern cameras. They were teaching us on like old JVCs, and then we were learning on like Bolexes and learning how to shoot film, which is cool. And I do that now a little bit, but film school you don't need it. You don't need film school. No one on set cares if you went to film school. My DPs made fun of me for going to film school. So it's great if you can do it and you want to do it, but you can learn all the same stuff by just being on set or going online. My dream job, man, my dream job is to actually like be at the helm of a series. Like, I want to make a docuseries because I've worked on a bunch of them, but I want to direct them. I've done like short versions of them. I did one for PBS called What's Good, and I absolutely loved it. And I would love to do that on a bigger scale and with a bigger outlet. Good follows to check out and see cool stuff. Man, there's this. I would have to look that up and send you it, because I can't think off that. Steve Geralt, I think is his name. He does stuff with like mechanical cameras and like crazy stuff for commercial spots, and it's just really inspiring to like see how they think about creating these wacky shots. I also like following Taika Waititi. Is that how you say it? But he's a great director, really funny Instagram, and it's just cool to see his journey from like lower budget films to doing Thor. What else do we got? Yeah, so some tips. We're gonna wrap this up, but just from my standpoint, I think one of the tips I said earlier is still super important, is that work on the kind of stuff you want to be working on, because that's what people are going to know you for something, and they're going to be like, you're the person for that. So for me, it's been kind of hard because I do a lot of stuff. So I'm not like the go-to for editing. Some people know I can edit, but I'm not the go-to for that. I'm not the go-to for directing because I do that sometimes. I do a lot of stuff. So I'm not like, I have a friend who's great at motion graphics. He's the guy you go to for motion graphics. I have a friend who's like just the DJs all the time. People are going to see what you're doing and then think about you to hire you for that. So whatever you want to be doing, it sounds like the secret, but like, put it out there. Let people know what you're working on, and work on the kind of stuff you want to keep working on, because people notice and it gets in their head. And that's how you get hired, is just being top of mind when someone has the budget to hire somebody, they think of you. So let people know you're available, let them know you're working on stuff, and put out what you want to be working on. Thanks guys. Yeah. Thanks for tuning in, and, check out Find Your Grind for more of these. It's super exciting that they're doing this. So, really, really, blessed to be a part of it. So thanks. And yeah, check out verytaste.co. That's my company. If you need anything, shoot me an email, but thanks guys.